Hello. Now we will move to the five phases and actually the life cycle of ethical hacking. Ethical hacking follows a structured methodology or the standard operating procedure. It consists of five steps. The first one is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is basically information gathering about the target system. You go passive and active in reconnaissance phase. In passive reconnaissance, you do not directly engage with the target. You get information from any public platform like publicly published information on the websites, on the news, in the social media, or from the DNS record. So you use many type of tools to get the information from public platforms like Sublister for DNS records, DNS lookup, and Multigo from social media mapping of the target. The target may be a person or a website or any other digital instance. And Shodan, Sherlock. So there are many tools for reconnaissance phase, and we will be looking into every tool in our future lectures. So I'll be giving you a practical example and practical tutorials how to use those tools and what kind of information we can get from those tools. And the second type of reconnaissance is active reconnaissance. In active reconnaissance, we directly or indirectly engage with the target by scanning the target and probing. And one thing, we are learning the ethical hacking, and in ethical hacking, the permission is the integral part of of your activity. You must get permission about anything you are doing to some target system. And the second phase of ethical hacking is scanning and enumeration. Scanning and enumeration is actually the identification of live hosts, open ports, and running services. You enumerate users, shares, and applications. You find the running services, their versions. This is basically very important part to know what kind of version of a specific application or specific service the target system uses, and what kind of application the target system runs. So you build a map of the target environment. You basically define your attack surface by yourself. Now, the third phase is gaining access. Basically, the third phase is actually the exploitation. Exploitation leads to gaining access, gaining the DC level, domain controller level access. In, in DC level access, you have root level privileges on the target system. So you exploit vulnerabilities. Vulnerability is basically the weakness of the system. You find a weakness in the system and you use that weakness to gain the entry into that system. So entry is the most important part. After gaining access, you can activate any kind of payload into that system to get your objectives. So techniques is basically brute forcing, password cracking, SQL injection, buffer overflow, cross-site scripting, and many kind of attacks. So what is the objective of the exploitation? Establishing a foothold in the target system. So the fourth step is maintaining access. You persist your existence into the target system. So you install backdoors, rootkits, and other persistence mechanism to sustain your existence into the target system. So you ensure continued access. Our system restarts. You cover tracks and escalate privileges. And the fifth one is covering tracks. Covering tracks is basically cleaning any remnants, evidence, and traces which can lead back to the attacker. So you clear logs and remove evidence of activity. You remove backdoors and restore system into the original state. So you must be ethical in every phase of the ethical hacking. So now we will discuss a real life analogy of the digital locksmith. To understand these five phases of ethical hacking, imagine you are a professional security consultant hired by a high end jewelry store. So the owner does not want to be robbed, so they hire you to try and break in first to find the weak spot. So now you must understand this. You are not a thief, you are a digital locksmith. You test the security of the lock system of every organization or any organization or any institute. So your goal is to provide a report so the owner can fix the gaps before a real criminal or thief arrives. So in the phase 1, in the reconnaissance, you scope out. You do not even touch the building. You act like a passerby. You watch from across the street to see what time does the staff arrives of that jewelry store and where are the security cameras located, and is there a back delivery door, and who provides the alarm system. You can look for stickers on the walls or on the windows. So you must know that what kind of security system that jewelry store uses, and what is the routine of their staff. And in hacking, this is basically the gathering information about the target. You can look for IP address, domain, which I have already told you about the DNS, emails. So you do these activities using public tools, publicly available tools, and without directly interacting with the target servers. So now we will move to the second phase, scanning, and we will be discussing this real life analogy of digital locksmith. So now, after the first step, you get a bit closer. So you walk up to the building at night and physically check the perimeter. So you can jiggle the door handles to see if any are unlocked. Okay. So when you will jiggle the door and and you'll test that if any door is unlocked or not. So you are basically identifying live hosts, if it is open or not. So you look for gaps in the fence, that if you can pass by that gap, and you use a thermal camera to see if the motion sensors have blind spots. So in real hacking, or in the ethical hacking, we use some tools like the network mapper, nmap, or nessus for this purpose. So we basically ping the network. So when I'll have to test this, I will be giving the command ping and the target IP in my terminal. So this will give me, if this will give me a positive response, then I will be sure that the system is alive and it is reachable. Otherwise, it is not reachable. So we can find the active services and known vulnerabilities in the software running on the target servers. So after this step, now we are more closer to our objective. So the third phase is actually the breaking in phase. So you have found that the second floor window has a faulty latch. So you use a ladder, climb up, and successfully enter the building. So you are now inside the restricted area. So actually that that faulty latch in the second floor window, that was a vulnerability. You used that vulnerability, you exploited that with the help of ladder, and you successfully entered the building. So now you are in the restricted area and without even breaking the lock or passing from the main gate or the main door of that jewelry shop. So this is the actual exploitation. In real life, hacker uses a vulnerability, like it can be a weak password or unpatched software, to bypass the security and enter the system. So this is where tools like Metasploit is basically a very strong framework in pen testing. So Metasploit framework is used to deliver a payload. So now we will be jumping into the phase 4. After gaining the access, we will now maintain our persistence into the system. So a professional thief does not want to climb that ladder every night. So you have done that once, but you do not want to do that every night to maintaining your persistence into the system. So now, once when you get inside, you might unlock a backdoor from the inside, hide a spare key under a rug, and disable the time lock so you can return easily. So these three things will persist your existence into the system. So, in hacking, the goal is to stay in the system without being caught. We install backdoors, rootkits, or create ghost admin accounts. So, this ensures that even if the system reboots or original vulnerability is patched, we will still have a way to get back in. So this is actually one of the most smartest phases in the ethical hacking. And now we will move to the fifth phase, which is covering tracks or cleaning up. So before you leave the system, you need to make sure that the morning staff has no idea you were there in the night. So you wipe your fingerprints off the glass. You loop the security camera footage so it shows an empty hallway, and you move the ladder back to where you found it. So, in ethical hacking, this is the final stage. The ethical hacker deletes log files, removes any uploaded tools, and hides any folders they created, and hide any activity which can leave remnants, evidence, or traces. So, in an ethical engagement, this is also where you prepare your final report to show the client exactly how you got in their shop and how they can stop it. So, basically, the latch in the second floor was the vulnerability. So, you found that you found that and the owner of the jewelry shop didn't know this, and you exploited that vulnerability. You gained access, you persisted your existence into the system, and you cleared every tracks which can lead back to you. So now you basically improved the security of the system by telling the owner of the jewelry shop that you have this vulnerability, and you can now remove this vulnerability by improving the security and fixing that latch. So this is basically the objective of the ethical hacker, and the process of how ethical hackers do their work. So now we will move forward to the third lecture in upcoming lecture.